On today's show, we debate who the Ottawa Senators' top 5 players are right now.
And Ross has a solo interview with Sens prospect Javon Moore.
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Pacific Pillsy, Brandon Piller, joining us out in beautiful Tofino on Vancouver Island. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season's around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets right now. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, and Pillsy, one vacation handed off to another. I get back from Ottawa. You're out in BC. How's it going out there?
I mean, you can't really complain, Ross. I love Vancouver Island. I'm at Long Beach Lodge in Tofino. Absolutely amazing spot. The weather's been good. So vacation time is going good for both of us.
Any other Sens gear out on the beach?
No. I've been the only one repping Sens gear here that I've seen so far.
Okay. Well, if you're out on Vancouver Island, get your Sens gear on and give Pillsy a wink, because I got spoiled, man. Being in Ottawa the last 10 days, it was Sens gear everywhere, man.
Yep, makes sense.
Everywhere. Got stopped by the GLEBE Central Pub. They got the outdoor TV rocking. So
Nice.
sick. You need it with the heat, too. Like the nice shaded area. Unreal. Ottawa's the best. I basically waxed poetically for like an hour on Monday's show about that. I was like, I'm alone. What am I going to talk about? Oh, Ottawa.
Well, Ross, speaking of how awesome Ottawa is and being at the GLEBE Central Pub, downtown Ottawa would make a great place for an NHL arena.
Yeah, so obviously I got the initial excitement when the news came out. Shout out Julian McKenzie. I texted him. I said, you are red hot this offseason. Okay. He's been hitting on all the scoops. So now that he announced it, the Sens announced it, the NCC announces it, they've agreed to terms to sell the lands, upwards of $35 million for contaminated land. I got excited, as everybody else did, but then I remembered that it's still a long process. Cyril Leader in his statement saying there are plenty of hurdles left, but the biggest one to this point, the keywords, was how are the NCC and the Senators going to agree to terms on a deal? So that's done, but there are not shovels in the ground, so I am still patiently waiting for the call.
Yeah, I mean, Ross, we're nowhere near being close to having an arena, but this at least is a solidified thing. Handshakes were made, contracts were signed, money, financial terms agreed upon. Like, that's a huge step. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're not even at the stage, Ross, where we should be sharpening our shovels. I think we need to be putting hazmat suits on and collecting hazardous waste for a while before we do that. But it's a big start, and it shows that this management, or ownership rather, is serious about making this downtown arena happen. And this is a big first step. So this is actually something tangible to get excited about. But from a physical arena being there and a puck being shot into the net by the Ottawa Senators in downtown Ottawa, we're a ways away. I remain 2032 is my hopeful prediction.
Okay, I'll give you my prediction once there's a shovel in the ground. I'm not getting carried away here. I'll believe it.
It's fair.
When I see it. Because I was so young and naive when Rendezvous Le Breton came out back in 2015, 2016? Oh boy. And years have passed. And the whole roster's turned over. And we are now agreeing to terms. And hey, Michael Andlauer
keeping his... was there.
Was he? He was probably a prospect at that point. Yeah. Wow. He actually got some love here with what we're going to get into, the top 5 Senators players right now. But quick note, too, it was always the plan to get this deal done with Le Breton. And it seems like Michael Andlauer is a man of his word. Not that I had any reason to doubt him beforehand, but not only is that announced the other day, but announced today is an extension, 3-year extension to the lease with the Belleville Senators. So despite there being a few rumblings online last season that maybe the Senators farm team would end up in Hamilton with the connection with Ann Lauer, who has since sold to Hamilton, now Brantford Bulldogs, while an arena gets built in Hamilton. But they're staying in Belleville for the foreseeable future. So good stability for the franchise there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was never in doubt, Ross. It wouldn't have made any sense to move the team from Belleville to Hamilton, other than obviously Hamilton being a bigger market. Like that's the clear reason. But geographically, I mean, they might as well go back to bingo. Like you're quite a ways away, Hamilton to Ottawa, whereas Belleville, it's nice. It's a good location, and you finally start building some momentum there. The worst thing you can do with AHL teams, in my opinion, is not have stability, because then it's so hard for fans to get engaged. Like, you don't want to get season tickets if you're like, well, this team's moving, we don't care about the players, they don't care about us. Like, you need to build that relationship, and they've been doing a good job of that in Belleville. So it would have been just a brutal blow to move the team, and Michael Andlauer made it clear he wasn't interested in doing that. And I think selling off the Hamilton team was a good sign of faith as well, being like, all right, I'm just moving on from this, and we're going to focus on keeping Belleville in Belleville.
And by the time the Senators play at LeBreton Flats, players who haven't even heard of Belleville but may play there one day could be starring for the Ottawa Senators. But right now, the Senators' 3-star players that got all the love on Twitter at Sens Central, we asked just open-endedly, who are your top 5 Ottawa Senators players right now? None of them have ever stepped foot in Belleville, and nor should they have. The lottery boys. But the order of them, extremely interesting. And in the next segment, we're going to unveil our results. Over 130 submissions, and we manually put it in. You know I love my Google document table, so we got one there. We've even taken it a step further, and we've done the way the point system is rewarded for the NHL awards, where it goes 10 points for a first place vote, 7 for second, then 5, 3, and 1 as things go down to number 5. Now, the key here is that it's the best Senators players right now. Don't confuse that with organizational value rankings, right? Yes. It's kind of tough to separate the two, but to you, what is the difference between them?
Well, I mean, our organizational value rankings put so much more weight into things like age, contract, health, role on this team.
Age.
Yep, I mentioned age.
Nice. I'm too old. I'm forgetting things quick.
That's fair. And even some intangibles that aren't necessarily statistically quantified. Those go into play with organizational value rankings, whereas what we're doing here is who is best for this hockey team on the ice right now. So age, contract, potential, intangibles, not a part of this conversation.
We both put our lists out. How hard was it for you to decide between 1, 2, 3?
Not that hard, honestly. I think the hardest decision I had to make was 5, who was number 5 on this list. And 1, 2, and 3 has to be some sort of combination of Timmy, Sanderson, Brady. Whatever order you put it in, I can see your arguments and I can be cool with that. But those 3 have to be the top 3. If you have anyone else in the top 3, you're missing the plot here, in my opinion.
Yeah, you are. And we did actually have a few people, and you'll see the results, that did have them lower. However, thank goodness, none were omitted from any ballot. So 133 ballots. We did have a few 5-place votes for a few of them, I will say.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that said, what's your top 5?
Should we tease it for after the break, or give them a little crumb here before?
Well, I think it's important to order the top 3. We can't have any fence sitting on this show.
Agreed.
And it's unfortunate. I almost tried to play devil's advocate and just change mine just to be different than yours. Yeah. But you and I agree on the top 3. I think only was our number 5 only the difference between ours, which is good because we've also included in our group of postcast crew with Jack Richardson and with Aleem's Martian, and theirs are substantially different. So maybe later on we'll have them argue with us about why their lists are so greatly different than ours. But we both had Jake Sanderson at number 1, Tim Stützle at number 2, and Brady Tkachuk at number 3. Now, this was a challenging decision because Brady Tkachuk is the heartbeat of the team, and he brings more areas of expertise to the game when it comes to shots, hits, intangibles, as the hockey men would say. But in pure skill, Jake Sanderson, what he does night in and night out, especially, you're just looking that he's going to build on that second half of the season, right, Pillsy? Like, he admitted, Claire Hanna told us she talked to him, and he hated his first half of the season. Lost the love of the game for a few minutes. But if he takes even a half step, which we very much expect the way he's dialed into his training, he could easily be a nominee for the Norris Trophy this upcoming season.
Yeah, I think at least in the conversation. And just quickly, no spoiler, but our organizational value rankings are different than our rankings here.
Yes, they are different.
So we'll see how that goes for everyone. And talk about Jake Sanderson. That picture of him, what is that, a basketball game or something?
The Ottawa Blackjacks, bro.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't get the context of that picture. Big Blackjacks guy over here. Love Blackjack. He was looking jacked. Like he's poised to, and see, like you could feel the aura coming off him through that photo. So I'm stoked for Sandy to have a big year. But yes, a number one defenseman that has the talent, hockey IQ, and the skating that Jake Sanderson has. It's just hard for me to see that any other player on the Ottawa Senators is better than Jake Sanderson when he's at his best.
And Tim Stützle is an electric talent. Like, this doesn't take away anything from Timmy Superstar, but I boiled it down to one thought.
Okay.
Jake Sanderson makes me say wow the most and uh-oh the least. Like, he has the highest
the wow to uh-oh ratio.
The successful play rate is the highest in a percentage form. Because Timmy I yell at to shoot sometimes. And Brady is just, he's the best across the board, but he doesn't have the elite skating and poise, I think would be the word that you use to describe Jake Sanderson, that he's ridiculous. But hey, you could order those three any which way you want, and I will not argue you. But we do find some arguments within the 133 ballots that were submitted at Sens Central. So we'll get to those lists next. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to pull up the entire voting results of who are the Ottawa Senators' top 5 players right now. And make sure to have your say in the comments on YouTube. This is Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. Look, you're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburnt at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with daily new promotions and fun ways to bet. I've been getting into baseball betting this year. Lots of good same-game parlay, profit boost options. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So whether I'm doing a Pillsy's parlay of the day or watching a bet ride into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. And there's no better time to sign up, guys. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. It's the neighborhood pub you love in the heart of the Glebe. You can visit them at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. It's just steps away from Lansdowne, the perfect place to catch every game, every night. It's got great food, great drinks, and even better company. But the GCP, it's more about just catching the game. They've also got a community feel. There's something happening almost every day of the week to appeal to every taste. Start your week with wing night every Monday, all day and all night. Trivia night goes Tuesday, so bring your crew and put your knowledge to the test. Wednesdays, it's open mic night, whether you play, sing, or just want to kick back and listen. It's a great way to celebrate Hump Day. Thursdays are all about cheap tacos, and of course, Saturday nights feature live music with no cover ever. And hey, CFL season's here, and at the Red Blacks games, why not get started and finish the night off at the GLEBE Central Pub? So head there for live music, a night out with friends, or just because the vibes are free at the GCP at 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. All right, Pilsy, it is the top 5 Ottawa Senators right now. And a little tease, why now? For this discussion, the season is still about a month away, well, from training camp, and then the home opener, actually. Isn't that 2 months today, October 13th, if I'm not mistaken? I got the time wrong in our interview with Claire Hanna, so I better be right here, and I sure am. They do play 2 games before that in the Sunshine State. October 9th is the season opener at Tampa, and then the first Saturday night game against the defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions before coming home to take on the Predators. But here at Locked On, we're doing a network top 100 players in the NHL right now, and we had to put our nominees in. So we thought, hey, we've got ours. We put 4 in. We didn't want to get greedy here because an average would be 3 per team if we're going through 100, 3-point something, math guy. But we want the top 5 Ottawa Senators. So did you just give your top 3?
Yeah, we both shared our top 3.
What's 4 and 5 for you?
Well, 4, this is easy because we have the same guy, Ross, Linus Ullmark. I mean,
goalie-friendly show.
Yeah, a Vezina winning goalie. I know there was some shaky times with him. The playoffs wasn't his best moments, and he did have the back injury and missed a decent amount of time last season. But let's not forget, when he was on his game, he was absolutely incredible. Like there was that, what was it, like a 9-game stint, Ross? Maybe you can find his game log and be precise for me. But there was a stretch where he was absolutely incredible, and even had that weekend where he played up against the Carolina Hurricanes, and then next day played up against the Pittsburgh Penguins, much to my dismay, and that I did not want that to happen. It ended up working out perfectly, and he continued on even after that to be one of the hottest goalies in the league. So don't forget how good he is when he's on his game. Yeah,
there was that tough stretch where everyone was not great in November. That Philly game stunk. Remember, they outshot Philly huge. He allowed 5 goals on 19 shots. Then he allowed 4 goals on 21 shots against Vancouver. But ever since he stole that game in San Jose, remember the 4-3 win where Gaudette scored in the third period there? They were just getting pummeled on the shot clock in that one. And from that moment forward, like the last game of the year, I think we can respectfully exclude that gong show 7-5 win over Carolina. But that's a 30-game sample size of the season for Ullmark, where he had a .921 save percentage. Like, that's an elite goaltender. And yeah, the stretch you're talking about was when he went out west. That was incredible. Incredible. It even started before that. Like, he had that shutout 3-0 over Carolina. He was on his game basically from early December all the way through when he got injured early in that Edmonton game. 7 games with a .967 combined save percentage. So when he's on, he is unreal. And I think there has to be a level of respect there for the Vezina Trophy and for what he's done over the course of his career. Now, longevity within a season, or I guess availability would be a way to put that, has been a question mark. But I think a lot of Senators fans, and we'll get to the surprise on the top 5s that came in, is that he's got a backup that fans are excited to see get an opportunity if it is Levi Merilainen who's going to get a bulk of games here. So I'm really excited to see what Ullmark's going to bring, and that's why he was number 4 for me. Now, this is where we differ, and people can listen to my take on this with our interview with Claire Hanna. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I think Shane Pinto is poised for a huge season. He's already got the defensive acumen, and I just know there's more offense in there. And if he can put that all together, that's a dangerous player. So he barely edges out Drake Batherson, Thomas Chabot, Dylan Cousins, I think could really impress in his first full season in Ottawa. But I'm going with Shane Pinto. I believed in this kid ever since they drafted him, and I really think this is the year he pops off.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect for Pinto from me, but I considered Chabot higher and closer to that 5th spot than Pinto. And maybe it's not fair, but Pinto's role is kind of pigeonholed into a third line center. Sure, he's a big part of the PK and he's a checking line guy and he plays more minutes than a typical third line center would. I get all that. But I just think production wise, Drake Batherson should be that fifth guy. I know he hasn't had some of his finest moments. And in the playoffs, obviously, there was not getting any physical contact on Domi in overtime and taking that double minor in overtime of game 4. But keep in mind, this is a guy that puts up big points. Like, he was second on the team in points last year with 68. And when he's good, he's very good. And I just think that he doesn't get the respect he deserves because he quietly puts up points in bunches.
Yeah, he does. The old 3-point Batherson bet that we rode so heavily early on. Feels like when he gets one, he's bound to get another. No, that's an extremely fair pick there. And he also scored the first goal of the postseason for the Ottawa Senators after their 7-year drought. So 133 ballots came in, and this is how the voting broke down. Only the lottery boys got first place votes, which I like to see. I didn't want any spoiled ballots in there, any write-in combinations. Jake Sanderson with 61 first place votes. Tim Stützle was at 58. This was separated by 3 first place votes, and Brady Tkachuk had 14 to his name. So I think that's pretty indicative of how hard it was to decide between Jake Sanderson and Tim Stützle who goes at number 1. At number 2, Jake Sanderson ran away with this one with 59 second place votes. Tim Stützle had 44, Brady Tkachuk at 25, Linus Ullmark had 4, and Thomas Chabot had 1 second place vote. In third place, the highest number was Brady Tkachuk. Again, you can check out YouTube for the full list. I think it would get pretty boring if I read off all the players that got 4th and 5th place votes. But 84 votes for Brady Tkachuk at 3rd, 80 votes for Linus Ullmark at 4th overall, like Pilsy and I. And then at 5th, it was a hodgepodge. Lots of players got votes, but the majority went to Drake Batherson at 38, Thomas Chabot at 37, Shane Pinto at 23, and Linus Ullmark at 21. Dylan Cousins got 10 5th place votes there as well. Any surprises for you on these results?
I mean, I would say the biggest surprise is Cousins at 3rd. Just because, again, no disrespect to Cousins, but the idea that he's better than one of Sanderson, Stützle, and or Tkachuk is wild to me. I didn't even really consider him for 5th, even though he's right on the cusp there. But other than that, I think it's fairly standard. I think Merilainen gets that hype from his exceptional stretch of 7 or 8 games last year with the Ottawa Senators.
3-1.
Oh, okay, sorry. So it was more than that. My bad.
And in the one OT loss, had a 60-minute shutout.
Yeah. So in that small sample size, he was incredible, but I'm not putting him in my top 5 just yet. Let's see if he can keep it going next season. But yeah, overall, kind of what I expected.
I was shocked to see Jordan Spence get a 4th place vote.
Yeah, well, and I guess on that note, getting Jake Sanderson getting a 5th place vote is kind of insane to me.
Yeah, insane. So if we were to do this as the NHL awards do, where they weight the ballots, 10 points for a first place vote, 7 for a second place vote, then 5-3-1, Jake Sanderson would be the best Ottawa Senator right now with 1,080 total points. Tim Stützle with 1,037. Brady Tkachuk with 761. Then Linus Ullmark and Thomas Chabot would be the 5th. So there's your top 5. Jake Sanderson, Tim Stützle, Brady Tkachuk, Linus Ullmark, and Thomas Chabot, with Batherson close behind with 84 points to Chabot's 89. That second place vote that Chabot got really did make a difference there. So there you have it. The Sens Central citizens coming through with their top 5 Ottawa Senators right now. We'll put these out on a graphic too in the next few days over on Twitter. Pilsy, why'd you miss the interview?
Ross, you know me, I'm a pretty on-time guy, punctual Pilsy, if you will. Always make sure I'm ready to go, prepared. I like to be as prepared as I can. This was out of my control, missing this interview. I was driving home and my front tire of my truck almost fell off on the highway. The bolts were like literally hand loosened, and my truck was like rattling like crazy. So I had to pull over the side of the road, call a tow truck, and that caused me to ultimately miss the Javon Moore interview. So hand up, my bad. Wish that didn't happen. I was excited to get a chance to talk to him. But Ross, I'm sure you did a bang up job on your own.
Well, everyone can let me know. Criticism is welcome also. But Javon Moore, great guy. I really think you guys are going to enjoy this. So let's get to it now. Here's our chat with Senators prospect Javon Moore. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Are you hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast, easy? Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. I've been in that spot where you're at work and you're like, man, we got to hire right now. The pressure's on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly what Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in handy for. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you can speed up that hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. All right, we now welcome a very special guest, a Minnesota State High School hockey champion, a future Minnesota Gopher, and Ottawa Senators prospect. It's Javon Moore. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. How's the summer going so far?
It's been good. Kind of just been training and getting ready for my first year of college. So,
what's a day in the life look like for you these days?
Yeah. So, wake up. Work out down at campus, probably like an hour and a half. Then we had summer class, so I'd go straight to that for a little bit with a couple of other guys. And then we usually have skates at like 2:30 to 3:30, and then kind of hang out with buddies from there. So kind of busy days.
Now, as a freshman going into a new program, how many of these guys are you familiar with? Guys who maybe came up the ranks? I noticed this pretty big freshman class coming in. How many guys are you familiar with already?
Yeah, I know like a lot of Minnesota guys that are coming in, just playing them in high school and then even in juniors. So the connection's kind of already there, and it's been fun since I've been on campus already, and can't wait to meet the new guys too that are from out of state.
Was it always Minnesota University for you? Because growing up there feels like just a natural progression to play for the Gophers.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of always been my dream growing up from Minnesota, and being able to have family to come to games too and enjoy the experience with them. And yeah, I just always wanted to play for the Gophers. So once I got the option to, I took it right away, and can't wait for it to start.
Well, you kind of skipped it on your timeline there. I was scrolling through some old articles, and we found some pretty exceptional paintings. I will say, we're pulling it up for those who are watching on YouTube here. So you got 2 years until we better see in the National Hockey League, eh? For people just listening, born in 2005. He was in first grade when he wrote that, 2012. And way to clarify, this is the present day. Yeah. And then in 2027, I'm an NHL hockey player. So one, do you remember making this? And two, how long before this did you know that hockey was something you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I definitely remember doing this. Yeah, we were doing timelines in first grade, kind of just not really what like you think you're going to be, just like kind of a timeline on your future. And I was into hockey at the time and already started, so I kind of put it as first grade playing hockey, and then the future being an NHL hockey player, which obviously you could see was my dream at a young age, and still is now, and still working to get there. So
If only you knew then, you would have made the NHL hockey one red and the other one blue here as you get drafted by the Ottawa Senators. Hey, one quick note. Is that yellow or orange circle in the first grade one a helmet? And then like in the NHL, you don't need a helmet anymore?
Yeah. I don't even know. I think that's a helmet in first grade, and then probably saw like the warm-up laps where you don't need one, or like the old days, so didn't put it in the last one.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Hey, those are the things we love pointing out because it's so cool, man. You guys are all at this stage now where you're seeing your dream become closer and closer to reality. And I know you went to Vegas last year. We were there at the draft. What a cool setup. What was your draft experience like?
Yeah, it was sweet. Had a lot of family there. I mean, it was my first time in Vegas, so just being there and being in the Sphere was unreal and unforgettable. And being drafted by the Senators even made it even more better. And just being able to spend time with family and people that helped me along the way to get there was just a great comfort, and it was a blast.
Man, I came down from Canada. You're coming from Minnesota. Was that not the hottest weather you've ever seen?
It was so hot. Like
Crazy, man.
And I was battling it. So
that's the beauty of Vegas, though. You don't even have to go outside if you don't want. Everything's connected.
Just enjoy it from the room.
Oh, yeah. The AC was on full tilt for sure. So I asked this to Logan Hensler recently, and I'm always curious because it's such a big day for you guys. But how much of it is excitement versus anxiety of not knowing where you're going to spend the next portion of your life potentially?
Yeah, I'd say all the way up until you get drafted, you're kind of nervous and wondering where you're going to go. And as soon as you hear your name called, it's a sign of relief, and then you're all happy and kind of enjoy the experience from there even more. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'd imagine you had a few buddies go in the same draft class. So pretty cool to share that with them, hey?
Yeah, Hagen Burrows was a teammate of mine that I won the state championship with my junior, and we played along with each other for 3 years there. To be there with him was even more special, and to see him get drafted as well was pretty cool and something we'll be able to talk about later down in our future.
Well, I'd imagine the state championship song you guys can talk about forever, too, because we see it everywhere. It's the Minnesota High School Championship. You guys play at the XL Energy Center. You got the NHL barn. It feels like an NHL crowd, if not better. Like, they packed that thing. What was it like going into that? Did you know you were the favorites to win? And then what was it like when the clock finally hit zero there? And it was a close game, too, eh? 2-1?
Yeah. So, I mean, especially to play Dinah in the championship game, that was our biggest rival, and like you said, yeah, it's a packed XL Energy Center with like 18,000 people, so you're hearing it's sold out before the games and everything, and yeah, just being able to beat them, and I was actually out there for like the last couple of seconds there, so it's kind of you're all into it until you hear the buzzer, and then it's just relief when you finally win it and throw it up. So just like that, I've been dreaming of that my whole life too, so to be able to get it done, it was real.
Well, was that the first time, or that tournament, I guess, maybe not that game, where you're playing at the Minnesota Wilds arena, where I'd imagine you've been as a fan there growing up watching games?
Yeah, that was my first like intense couple of games there. I've played there just for other like teams, just as like a fun thing to do, but being there to win something was special, and watching games there too, it was a little different perspective being on the ice that time.
Who were your favorite Minnesota Wild players growing up?
Growing up, I liked Zach Parise and like Mikko Koivu a lot. I actually have a stick behind my jersey there.
Sick.
So, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
let's see it. Huge jersey wall for everyone who's watching on YouTube right now. That's so sick.
You see it there, and then you kind of wrote to Javon best wishes on the blade. So
nice. That's sick, man. Are you the kind of guy that, like, let's say everything goes according to plan, you're in the NHL, are you gonna be asking guys for sticks? You got a little memorabilia collection?
Yeah, I'm a big stick guy actually. So like I love looking at different curves and different like sticks, and I have a stick collection too of my own, so I have a bunch. But yeah,
Nice.
once I get there, yeah.
This might be a bit before your time, but that stick back there is Ray Emery's. He used to play for the Ottawa Senators back in the day.
Yeah. I go too.
Yeah. He won the cup with Chicago. Actually, I think he had an unreal season there, if I'm not mistaken. With it was him and Corey Crawford. I think they won the William Jennings that year, and Emery had gone through like ups and downs. I think he'd been to the KHL and back, and yeah, that season was insane. Getting to see him lift the cup because he got so close there as a rookie with Ottawa, and then. Yeah, it was 2013. He went 17-1-0 with a .922 save percentage, backing up Corey Crawford. Decent, but yeah, he was always a favorite.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. I was at the game Wild versus Blackhawks when Patrick Kane had that sick shootout goal.
Oh yeah,
he was in net and
no way.
Real, yeah.
That's so sick. How often were you able to get out to Wild games?
A good amount actually. The past couple of years, I had like a bundle of like season tickets, so I went to like 11 games a year. So just kind of being able to go there and watch. Kind of
we keep talking about how great of an arena it is. We went 2 years ago when Ottawa played down there for a game, and like the 100 level's like twice as big as any of the others. Like it's so sick to watch a game.
Yeah, it's sweet there.
Yeah, I can't even imagine winning a title there. That's awesome. Well, so then you get drafted by the Ottawa Senators. What did you know about the Sens when at the time of the draft, and how did the meetings go leading up? Did you have a feeling that they might be a spot you could land?
Yeah, didn't know much going into it, but I got to talk to him at the combine, and it was all good. Made some connections in the meetings, and kind of felt like it was a good fit coming out of it, and felt pretty comfortable with how the interview went. And during the draft, I knew like around that kind of time when I was supposed to get picked, and couldn't be more happy enough going to Ottawa with the interview we had and the staff that they have there, and bringing in a new head coach, Travs, and building kind of a strong, obviously with playoffs this past season. So they're in the right direction.
Yeah, is there a connection there with Minnesota too? Because I know Dan Besser was a part of the press conferences after the draft this year. They take 2 Minnesota kids this year with Blake Vanek and obviously Logan Hensler going. You last year, I know Blake Montgomery's got some Minnesota connections a couple generations past. Like, is that something where it adds a level of comfort just knowing there's guys from around your neck of the woods?
Yeah, for sure. Just like even at development camp, having guys there that you know from your hometown. And I mean, I played both Hensler and Vanek, and even Montgomery and USHL. So just being able to hang around them makes you comfort and get to go through the process with them as well.
How much more of a sigh of relief is it going into this year than last year, where you talk about the whirlwind at the draft and then you're basically on a flight to Ottawa right away? What was the difference in comfort level from year 1 to 2?
Yeah, year 1, it was a busy summer, just with the combine and everything too. It was basically every other weekend you were doing something. So this year, just being able to even watch it and just see the draft picks this year, and then going into development camp, being home a couple more days before going out there, and you're just more comfortable the second time around, and you know more people. So it was really it was a good experience, and can't wait.
So we always talk about how players grow throughout their draft year with all the extracurriculars plus playing the game and trying to be at their best. But it was literal for you. You grew like what, over an inch during your draft year? Are you done growing? What are we looking at now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know I grew an inch, but I heard that from the combine to the draft. So, I mean, I feel like I'm always growing. I'm still in that phase of growing too. Probably like 6'5" right now. So kind of just keep growing and kind of building into my body as I go.
Well, you kind of need to be that tall at Sens Dev Camp, eh? They had to extend the doors, eh? How about those defensemen?
I know. They're huge. Elias and
Jabril's 6'7".
Brill. They're huge.
Yeah, it's crazy. Eh? How do you attack a defenseman when you know they've got both the reach and the physicality?
I mean, you got to get them moving. I feel like guys that are that big, you don't find much good skaters at that size. So, I mean, as much as you can get them to move, I mean, they got long sticks too. So, got to get creative as well.
And we always talk about how some of these defensemen, like if you're that big, you like have to kind of be physical no matter what. Otherwise, you're kind of frowned upon. But like it feels like we just chatted with Gabe and Jabril in the last couple of weeks, and like these guys love being mean.
Yeah.
It feels like just a part of their DNA.
And it's crazy because they're the nicest guys off the ice too. So it's like, where does it come from?
So what's the goals going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, just have a big dominant year. Obviously get stronger and faster in the weight room, and just have a good freshman year. Not too much to expect right now, but once the season gets going, just having huge impact and be consistent throughout the whole season.
Is it going to be kind of weird though, looking down? I know it's a little ways away, Wisconsin to where you guys are, Minnesota, but you feel left out at all? You got 4 Sens prospects at Wisconsin this year.
Yeah, we were chirping each other at Dev Camp a little bit, kind of rubbing it in. So it'll be fun to play them once that game comes around. So it should be fun.
Well, if you need to chirp Logan, he told us Minnesota didn't offer him a scholarship.
I didn't get one from Wisco, so there you go.
Oh, there you go. Exactly.
There you go.
What is it about the legacy at Minnesota? Because it feels like they're one of those schools that just year in, year out, there's expectation, there's culture, there's all those things. Where do you think it stems from?
Yeah, just the history keeps building every year. I feel everyone wants to stay in Minnesota, even if they're from out of state. They tend to always come back, and I feel like the coaching staff and everyone there's had a great decision making with having a lot of Minnesota guys from home be together and knowing how each other play and just the chemistry and culture that the team builds from that. And there's so much history in the program, and everyone wants to be a part of it. So,
man, the alumni list is pretty sick too, eh?
Yeah, sick alumni, and they always come back. And like you'll see Matthew Nyes and Lacombe in the gym, and just guys that you watch when they were at the University of Minnesota too. So it's kind of cool to have that experience and see the alumni give back too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, we're looking forward to watching you have your freshman season this year. We keep calling it the best 4th round in NHL history, getting you, Blake, and Luke Ellenis all in the same round there in the Sphere in Vegas. Final question from me, and we've been asking this to every prospect that we've had on, goalies, players. Who stood out to you at Dev Camp? I know it was just a couple of on-ice sessions, but was there either a defenseman that was hard to get by or a forward that you noticed the skill pop a little bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I mean, everyone's there for a reason, so everyone's good. But
like maybe someone you didn't know, like it's someone sneaky good.
Sneaky good. Oh, I'll go with O'Hara, the defenseman.
Yeah. Okay.
He's pretty silky. So
nice.
It's kind of good that he's a defenseman. And then I saw he had like 40-some talks in the OHL or something.
That's sick.
So yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, I'm actually looking him up right now. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, he had a good year last year, I saw. So
yeah, no doubt he did. Damn.
So
and Jabril was quick to point out he scored on every goalie. Yeah. But who is the hardest to score on?
I'd say Parsons from this.
We just had him on. He's a beauty.
Yeah, he is. Good guy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of OHL, this guy was the CHL goalie of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
That's unreal, man. Yeah, man. It's so fun watching you guys all develop. I remember back and speaking of like old, like later round picks, because like there's all the fans love it in the summer. They come down, they're watching. And I always tell this story about Shelly Kettles, who's been there forever. And I know you worked with her. She just does an amazing job. I went, it was 2010 or 2011, and they had like 3 first-round picks that year. It was Zibanejad was there with a bunch of other guys. And during a skating drill, the same guy fell about 15 times. Nobody else did. That was Mark Stone.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool to see you guys then and then kind of watch what you guys develop into. And we're looking forward to doing the same with you, Javon. So thanks so much for doing this. I think it was great for Sens fans to get a bit of an introduction to you because we get to see you on the ice play. You're going to a great school here in Minnesota, and we look forward to doing this again down the road here. So go have a great start to your college career, man, and we're going to be following along. We're looking forward to the journey.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Stick taps to Javon Moore for joining us. Really fun conversation with him, and we're looking forward to a fun Ring of Honor on Friday. Pills, you going to do it a little differently this week?
Yep, we've got a guest on this week's Ring of Honor, and look, we've been talking a lot about Sens drafts, but this is moving on to Sens prospects. And who better to talk about Sens prospects than, well, Sens prospects. So Henry Brand was going to join us. We always love chatting with him. And should we tease the topic or hold off on it, or what are we doing?
Go ahead.
The topic is overhyped Ottawa Senators prospects. And key to note, this doesn't mean they have to be drafted by the Ottawa Senators. It's just prospects that were in the system that everybody was stoked up for, and they didn't necessarily pan out.
I'm really excited for this one. So we'll see you on Friday. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.